Okay, Ryan, I think we are officially recording. Thank you
Hey,
for doing
hey.
this with me today. I'm
Yeah, of
just
course.
it's been working really well getting people on the phone with you, especially after they've seen that video so they know they're a lot more interested, but I just see this continuing to pick up and there not being the ability to always introduce everybody to you personally even. So I want to just put this together so I can show it with to people when you and I aren't able to get together and connect with them. And so thank you for doing this.
Yeah, of course. Good to see you.
All right, so I'm going to give a little background, y'all. This is very exciting for me. Clearly, many of you know my background. I've been in direct sales for almost 20 years now and cannot imagine doing anything ever in my life if it doesn't come with some sort of residual income component to it. And with 20 years of this kind of unique experience, as I was looking at what's my next step in my career, real estate was one of those things that's just a product I've always been interested in. I know enough about real estate to be a little dangerous, especially on the investment side. And the more I looked into it, the more I thought I better get a real estate license to go with this and really dive in. And it would take me, I think, what was it, 2 years, Ryan, to be able to get to have a broker's license and build a team. And I had heard of this
Yeah.
company called EXP, but I didn't know much about it. I just know it was the first one in the real estate industry that actually offered a solution to residual income. And then, but I didn't know anybody. And it's so funny because when I was looking at going down this path of real estate, y'all, just a little background, Ryan and I went to high school, we graduated together. And
Sure.
he and I did a little investing before I moved to Florida. So I thought, I'm going to call Ryan. He talked about getting his broker's license in Florida. Maybe I could hang my license with him for a little while till I can become my own broker. And I call Ryan. And what did you tell me, Ryan? Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
This is Ryan.
I told you, hey, I still have Blue House, but I actually moved it to a national franchise. I linked up, I partnered with them, right? And called EXP. And you're like, what? EXP? I've heard of them. So
I was
I
like,
caught you off guard with that one.
well, I wasn't a slam dunk when I called you, but the minute you said you linked up with EXP, I was like, pretty much this is a slam dunk. Thank you, Lord, for that sign.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so and let me tell you why, right? Like I did that day, I think on that phone. And I'll start out and I was a never EXP type of person, right? And not just EXP. I was kind of an anti-franchise. I'm very proud of my little boutique brokerage that I've had for 15 years. It's independent. I was buying a Keller Williams franchise actually like 5 years ago. And I went the whole path down to Austin and did their franchise class and met Gary Keller and all of that. And I ended up backing out of that deal. And that's a story for another day. But I was fiercely independent, Blue House Properties, little local brokerage, never going to do a franchise. And a few agents had come up and kind of tried to introduce me to EXP. And I didn't take them too serious, but I also like what they were sharing with me just didn't really resonate. And now that I've been there a year and a half, looking back, I realized most people are a no. At this point, EXP is huge, 86, 87,000 agents. Everyone's kind of heard of it or been approached. But were they really, explain the model the right way, or was it the right timing for them? And, I guess I'll share some of that story, right? But quick little background. So I've done this for 22 years. And I worked at a small broker and then a large broker. And then I opened a brokerage for a law firm in town. And then I left and started my own brokerage in 2008, which everyone says 2008, are you crazy, right? The real estate market was crashing. And, funny story, I had a broker tell me that I was crazy for opening my own branch in 2008 when the market was crashing and that I should link up with them. And long story short on that one, a few years later, when I saw one of her offices going into foreclosure, I tried my best not to call her and rub it in. No, I don't
That was
wish
very humble of you.
I don't wish ill will on anybody, but God's direct word to me in 2008 was open it up, give him the glory, treat people right, do good business. And, you'll become wildly successful. And here I am, right? So never had a plan on moving away from Blue House. And what's so cool as I explain this model is I really didn't. I still have Blue House properties. It's still our branding, it's still our logo, our signs. I'm just brokered by EXP. So it was a really good partnership. And EXP had some specific solutions for me, but long story short on that was I wanted to get licensed in Florida, and I was actually going to go to a KW in Florida that my friend owned. And in looking into it, I realized, man, I'm kind of like Ryan Ogle in Florida with a set of fees and a cap and everything at KW. And then I'm Ryan Ogle in Michigan with another set of fees and a cap. So I'm two different people in two different states, double the cost. And a good friend of mine, Justin Ford at the time, who I was friends with, said, hey, no, I'm licensed in Florida. EXP only has one cap. They don't care what states you make your money in. You could be licensed in Florida, Texas, and Michigan, and you just still pay one cap wherever you're earning your commissions. And I thought, man, that's like a $25,000 savings right there. I should look into this company a little bit. So I looked into it, and I still was kind of, nah, not really, especially like I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan, right? Amway, awesome company. Like we wouldn't have a city without them, but that's the leader and like the, pioneer in direct sales and kind of multi-level marketing. And so when you hear that piece of EXP, it's a turnoff to some people, especially if you're from Grand Rapids and your whole life you've been pitched Amway. But I was like, I should look into it. I trust Justin. I'll look into it a little bit. And I vetted the company really hard for like a year. Justin will say I vetted that. I mean, he had to court me longer than he courted his wife, is what he'll tell you. But I really wanted to get to know it. And I went down to one of their events, and I went down there with a bad attitude of like, this company's no good and everybody at this company is kind of a joke and I'm going to prove myself right. And lo and behold, I go down there and meet some of the most just solid people I've met, not just solid realtors, but realtors who have big teams or realtors who have way more experience than I and are doing big business, but quality people. And personally, I've already mentioned my faith is important. I met some really good Christian people down there who are doing this to help others. And I just was surprised, and I thought, great, there's actually good people at this company. Now I have to kind of take it serious and look into it. So through a series of events, it ended up being a great match for me in some of the issues I had with my independent brokerage and my team. But I was profitable in my team and my brokerage, and I still made the decision to move it over for some of that long-term gain and kind of vision. So yeah, it was not something I was planning on. I was kind of a no. But I think once Justin kind of explained it to me, once I watched the video, once I met some of the people, and I even went as far as I had breakfast with the CEO. I heard he was going to be in Michigan at an event. I tracked him down. His secretary lined up coffee. I went and met him. Amazing guy, had a really neat story. And I thought, great, even like the leaders are good at this company. Everything I had kind of heard was not good stuff, but I think people just do that. It's realtors' nature to probably be a little bit pessimistic and find the bad in something and then not look into it. But I've seen, go ahead.
Well, what I was just going to say, isn't that human nature? I think about some of the church horror stories I hear, and it keeps some people from ever even, stepping foot in a church. But I will say, you said this to me, I don't know if you remember seeing this, is after you were traveling and doing those things and you really did listen to what Justin had to say, I think you said, I couldn't not see what I had seen.
Yeah, you can't unsee what you've seen. And I would just say any solid, real estate person, anyone who's been in a while, or just any good business person who has good business sense, if you really study the model, it's a no-brainer. I think the problem is some people either were kind of pitched incorrectly on it, or that was the problem. They were pitched. Like, it's not really something to sell. It's just, it can be a great solution for a realtor if you look into it. But if you feel like you're getting sold, or you're only being told one part of, the perks of working at the company, then it might not resonate with you. But if you really sit down and study it, it's a no-brainer on it. And, one of the biggest things, Cami, for me was I was part of a really big, not really big, a really small, but a very big company, real estate consultant company called T3 Fellows. And the head of that, Stefan Swanpool, is like one of the most respected consultants in the world for real estate. And a lot of agents haven't heard of him because his clients are like the CEO of Zillow and the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. So big time. Like I should never be in a room with him. Little Ryan from Blue House Properties in Grand Rapids, but I was. And so I called him and said, hey, what do you think about EXP? And they said, well, full disclosure, we've made a ton of money off of them because we consulted with them when they were going to start the company. And a lot of times we'll invest in a company if we have them as a client in our consulting. And he explained it to me really well. He said, hey, look, every decade there's a brokerage that's kind of dominating the space. And it was Remax for 10 years. And then it was Keller Williams for 10 years. And now it's EXP. And they're a third of the way through their decade of dominance. Now, when their decade's over, doesn't mean that they're gone or irrelevant. Remax is still thriving, doing well. KW is still thriving, doing well. But there's always one brokerage that's kind of at the top that has the most agent count and growth and is going. And EXP will still do well, even if something else, but it's realistic to say there's probably another model that will pop up in the next 5-6 years that starts to take over, right? And so hearing that from him was encouraging, like, hey, yeah, I'm not jumping on this train too late. It's a solid company. They're dominating and third of the way through. So, that was a comfortable piece for me. Meeting that CEO was a comfortable piece. And then the other things I heard about it, and then some of the specific solutions it had for me and my team, which is probably another story for, if someone had a team or a small brokerage, I could share that with them and they could probably relate. But yeah, so right with my background and just so people know, I'm not a big look at me person, but 22 years, I've sold 3,000 plus homes. I had a 15-person team. We were doing 300 deals a year, 75 million in volume. I've been the president of our MLS in town. I've served on the state and the national board. So I have a history in real estate, right? At this point, I have a master's degree in real estate. Started when I was 20, didn't go to college. So that's why I'll claim that I have a master's degree in real estate so I can say I have some kind of a degree there. So I have history, so I know what's good. I know what's not. I've looked into everything and there's a lot of great brokerages out there, but so I vetted this one really hard and I joined. And then I'm kind of let's try it. Let's test it out and make sure it really is what it is. And so I kept quiet about it for a little bit, but now that I've been there, I'm actually going to share my screen with you because I have a little flyer that I made that I think helps explain what I like there. So now that I've actually been there and worked there, these are the 5 pillars that I think are kind of important. Can you see this screen okay, Cami?
I can, it's perfect.
Yeah, so I kind of uncovered this on my own, I guess. I mean, these are all things that are known and are part of the brochure and things that EXP explains, but I put them together and put them in this order. But if an agent was looking at a brokerage, just at a brokerage, this is middle of the road. It's not the cheapest, it's not the most expensive, but just as a brokerage alone, it's pretty good. 80-20 split, you cap at 16 grand, you get a great CRM website, some lead gen tools, you get a good marketing department. So if you were just comparing brokerages, I think some people would pick this just for that alone. And obviously there's more amenities and stuff to that, but that's the first pillar. The second is health insurance. And before I explain that, one thing that I've realized or I heard when I went to that first EXP convention that just resonated with me so strong was you wake up on January 1st and you start at 0 and you have to do it all over again. And that's the cycle of a realtor. That hit me so hard. I was like, that's why I'm always kind of bummed out at the beginning of the year. Like, love this job, love the way of life that real estate's created for me and my family, but we don't sell widgets. We don't have orders, starting the year. So I got to wake up and sell 50 houses again. And it's a grind. Some deals go through, some fall through, and it's a lot of work to do it. But every year on January 1st, you're starting at 0 again and you do it again. And so when I heard that resonated, and the reason they shared that analogy was because Glenn Sanford, who started this, said, can I make it a little bit easier? Like, let's just admit real estate's hard. You're a 1099 independent contractor. Can I take some pressure off, make it a little bit easier for a realtor when they start on the first each year? And so the second pillar, health insurance, they kind of cracked the code for 1099 independent contractors who normally can't get health insurance from their brokerage. They have a group plan that's affordable. Is it free? No, but it's affordable, and they use the economy of scale, grouping all the agents together. So I think some agents would maybe look at EXP just for that. I know agents who do very well financially, but they have their spouse work so they can get health care. So if they could retire their spouse so because they can do a health plan here, that's good. That's a good one. The third one, stock. Stock goes up and down. Would I go there just for the stock? No. But the fact that they offer the stock, again, cracking some of the traditional issues with a 1099 independent contractor, you don't really get a 401k or a retirement plan. And so here, the fact that they have stock is awesome. And there's a couple of things about it that were important to me or that I didn't realize at first. The stock is actually in the parent company, EXPI. And EXPI, of course, their biggest revenue generator is the real estate brokerage. That's where a lot of the money comes from, but they own other stuff. They ended up actually buying the software, the technology for their online world called Verbellum. They ended up just purchasing the company. And there's other places that use that. Like there's some colleges who lease that technology. So our stock is in more than just real estate. And I love that. So we're making, we're earning money on our stock on other businesses besides just the EXP brokerage. Also, you can earn stock there for free. They have some rewards. You can actually earn up to 16 grand, your cap back. Now there's some stuff you have to do for that, but you can earn stock each year. And yeah, it's not money in your hand, but it's stock. And if you're my whole thing is if you're going to sell real estate the next 5, 10, 15 years, why not do it somewhere where each year there's some perks and that adds up over time? And I think after working here for 10 years, you'll actually have a little bit of a retirement. So free stock is a great benefit that I've not seen other brokerages do. I've never seen a brokerage be willing to give you back almost your whole cap in some form of compensation or perk. The second thing is you can sign up to buy stock out of your commission check. So that's your money, but you can take 5% of your commission check to buy stock at a 10% discount. So I did that. That's like a set it and forget it. And again, I'm kind of building like a 401k in retirement. So third pillar. And again, with each of these pillars, I wouldn't go there for just one of them. One of them might resonate with someone else over another one, but like the 5 of them combined make for a really attractive package and brokerage to work at. The 5th one, revenue share. This is the one a lot of people kind of get hung up on. And I think words matter. Revenue share is, hey, can we share some money? Can we not have, I think when Glenn did this, it was like, I'm not going to spend money on growing the company and attracting agents. I'd rather set a nice plan for agents to get paid themselves for bringing in other agents to the company. So this is the recruiting part that people kind of get turned off by. I'd call it agent attraction. The biggest thing though is maybe like 5-10% of the agents at EXP actually work on this pillar on revenue share. You don't have to. If you go work there, you don't have to recruit. You don't have to spend any time on that. But if you want to, he laid out a very nice, organized, attractive compensation plan for doing that. And I love that. Speaking, I said I was on a national board and a state and I was the president. I know agents all over. I've spoke at different events. And so for me, I thought, well, this is awesome. I'd love to bring on agents, but how can I bring on an agent in Florida like Cammie to my Blue House properties in Michigan? I can't. I'm not brokered in Florida and I'm not looking to expand there just for one agent. That'd be very costly. But through EXP, I can introduce you to their brokerage. And because I did that, as you do deals there, and if you cap, they give me a little percentage of that. And, a big part of my business right now is I get referrals from all over the country from different agents that I've met. And, I also give out referrals all over the country. And so when they close a deal, I get a little 25% referral fee mailed to me for them closing the client that I sent them. Well, with this revenue share model, I can have agents all over the country, even the world now, because we're in like 20 different countries. And when they close a deal, I get a little percentage deposited in my bank account. So I have all these little referrals coming in all over the country from agents closing deals that I introduced to EXP. That's awesome. That was never something available at other brokerages. And the funny part is all brokerages kind of ask their agents to recruit, like, hey, do you have any friends who, would be a good fit here? And they want you to introduce them to their brokerage, but they don't pay you for it. So here's a model that actually says, hey, if you do that, there's a big reward and you can earn like up to $2,800 off an agent. And so real talk, right? Like sounds good, but is it really work? I made $36,000 my first year at EXP in revenue share. Not completely life-changing, but now I'm not waking up on January 1st starting at zero, right? And I also had earned like 18 grand in free stock my first year. So now I'm waking up on January 1st with like 50 grand. And as this thing goes and grows, and my group has grown a little bit, I've introduced some more agents and stuff. I'm going to be waking up on January 1st with 75 grand. Now maybe I can go sell 30 houses instead of 50. So it makes it a little bit easier to be a real estate agent. And that's what I really like. So, you know, that's one we could talk even more about, but I think what's important is it's there for you. There's a lot of opportunities at EXP for you to make extra money. Glenn Sanford, who started EXP, he was an agent. And he said, when I'm going to start this brokerage, I want everything that we make money on. I want there to be an opportunity for agents to participate and make money also. So there's even other things you can do through EXP where you can earn some extra revenue. And that's the passive income piece that you like, that you were attracted to. But this is like life changing. I mean, I can build this up and get to the point where I didn't have to sell if I had enough coming in. I could pass it on to my kids. I could pass it on or sell it to an LLC if there was a licensed agent. And again, if you work 20, 30 years at another brokerage, when you're done, you're done. You don't have anything. Here, when I'm done, I'm going to have some kind of a big monthly check coming in. I'm going to have some stock built up, a retirement. Like I actually get something when I'm done. So I love that aspect of it, but really important for people to understand you don't have to participate in that. But if you're a good co-broke throughout the year, naturally, you might share your brokerage with someone. So maybe once a year, you bring an agent on. Well, good. Over 10, 15 years, that will have grown a little bit and they will have maybe brought on one person. So even if it's something you don't want to focus on, it can build some wealth for you. But it's my fourth pillar because it's not the most important. The fifth pillar, tech and innovation. We have an incredible online world, unbelievable training and classes, like unlimited stuff. Sometimes I feel like a little overwhelming. There's almost too much available to you, but you get top-notch, state-of-the-art, you know, they're on top of any new trends in real estate. So really good training. The virtual world, some people don't like that or knock it, but I had a accounting question. I log into the virtual world. You see your avatar. I went to the accounting department. I click on the ticket thing. I'm like number 2 in line. And then a lady pops up on my screen. She answered my accounting question. And right in the chat, she sent me a link to my new 1099. Like it was that quick. I love that. I could work from anywhere in the country and kind of hop in and get answers. And then on top of that, like we have in-state brokers that are really easy to get a hold of if you have a question. So I could go deep on any of these, right? But those are kind of my 5 pillars that I've realized and discovered after being at EXP for a little bit that I really, really like. So yeah, I don't know. Do you have thoughts or questions on that, Cammie? Because I know I've explained that to you before, but what do you think of those?
Well, number one, I just want to say, as I've been talking to other agents, obviously being a new agent myself, I still have a lot to learn. But when I'm talking to other agents, one of the things they take a lot of pride in is the education, right? Like the education that their brokerage provides. And y'all, what I've seen is I'm going to have enough to last me a lifetime. And that's not even counting the team that we're on and what they offer every Tuesday and Thursday and a couple other additional things. Also,
well, so hold tight. That's a really good point because what I also so everybody's kind of a no to EXP until they hear the right presentation, look into it for real, or it's the right timing in their business, right? That's a big one you hear, but then also it really matters who you join at EXP. So many people were not explaining this the right way, or the person from EXP only talked about revenue share. Like, hey, you just got to join. We get all our friends to join. We'll become millionaires. No, not at all. You have to sell real estate. And the reason I don't call it direct sales or MLM is, and no offense to other companies, right? And I know you have a history with it, but we're not selling a product. I'm not selling you vitamins. I'm not selling you a shake. I'm just introducing you to a brokerage that's pretty good place to hang your license. So that's it. That's why I think it's different. But who you join under really matters. In our group, I feel very fortunate. But one of the cool things is when someone can earn money off of you and they're above you, that's this downward pressure from them to want to help you succeed because they benefit. So that's a really good thing. A lot of brokerages, it's like, just get as many warm bodies in the door as you can. Some will make it, some won't. We'll collect desk fees. We'll charge them for technology or training. They don't really care if you make it or not. Here, you want agents to make it, and you only revenue share if they close deals, if they can. So it's not a matter of just getting new agents or agents who close one deal, because I wouldn't make much, but I would be inspired to try to help them close more and learn the business so I could earn a little bit more. And our group that we were part of, again, very fortunate. I happened to get into a group there that has like 7,000 agents, the head guy, and he wants these 7,000 agents to do well. So he provides incredible training. You kind of have like companies within a company, right? Our group is called Game Changers, and we do really good Zoom trainings there. We have our own kind of workplace page within the EXP workplace, which if you don't know what that is, it's like a Facebook for business. We have referrals getting passed back and forth. But I could message any agent in Game Changers in the country and have a conversation or say, hey, what's your listing presentation like? I know you're in a different state, but I'm going to redo mine. Would love to see a copy of yours, and they'll share it. So that's incredible. And I think not only within like our little group, but EXP as a whole, that kind of culture of collaboration is there partially because we all are equity stakeholders. We all own part of the company. We own stock. Like, I want you to do well in your business in California because maybe my retirement will increase. So what I've seen, and what I was going to say to you is, I've seen now that agents who are thinking about joining will interview different groups at EXP to see who is a good fit. And you know, that's discussion for another day, but Game Changers in our group, what they offer, the benefits are incredible. And that's just like another layer of benefit in addition to just what EXP offers.
Well, and I love that you brought that up about the fact that you own stock in the company. So we all want to see everybody win because we do better. Like, that was one of the coolest things I saw barely a weekend, getting on the call with somebody and you being introduced to one of my friends and them saying, I do know someone and she's a little frustrated. And you were like, oh, put her on a call with me. He didn't say, oh, tell her to wait 6 months and then she can join my team. No, he said, man, she's part of this company and I want my stock to do well. Let me help and see where the disconnect is. And being someone that has built in this industry for almost 20 years, that's huge, you guys. Culture is everything. And then I'm gonna let Ryan close with his 4 freedoms, because those are good. And there's something, you know, I've been in this industry for so long. We talk all the time about time freedom. We talk all the time about location freedom, work anywhere from, you know, anytime. We talk a lot about timing, and you covered that with the whole decade thing, and we're only a third into the decade with this company. I had a friend knock on my window the other day when I was picking kids up from school, and has been a colleague and a mentor in this industry with me. And he just said to me, he said, I am so proud of you. He said, my one thing about EXP is I'm shocked nobody else has tried to duplicate what they're doing. And I said, well, right now, I don't know that anybody can, first of all, but you know, I think it's a perfect timing situation. But you brought up another freedom, Ryan, that I'd never thought of, because I've not been in the real estate world. And I think it's huge. And I think it's worth mentioning, because there's a lot of people that do what I would have done, wait 2 years to get my broker's license here in Florida. Oh, by the way, if I want to build a team in Michigan, I've also got to get my license there. I don't have to do that now. I'm literally in the entire United States and 20 something other countries, and I'm covered under that umbrella of EXP. Yeah. That's a game changer.
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, the 4 freedoms, and I'll start with the 3 that are there for most people, which is people want financial freedom, they want time freedom, and they want location freedom, which can be a choice, right? Like, I have kids in school, I can't really do location freedom, and then the 4th one that I wanted was liability freedom. As the broker, I'm directly responsible, and I have errors and omissions insurance policies in my name, and every deal agents are doing, I'm the one who could get sued. And part of moving my brokerage over to EXP is I have liability freedom now. I'm not the broker. I'm not signing the commission checks. And even another layer of that, I don't have like barely any expenses now. I'm not doing the counting. I'm not cutting the checks and mailing them. So, and I don't have the insurance policy in my name. So that's huge. But I can still run a team. So it's like I can run a business within a business, utilize their platform and those things that they do well, still run my thing, but I got liability freedom and, financial freedom. Hey, you can just sell a ton of houses every year, invest, and at one point have enough money and say, I'm done. That's great. But also if I had enough other perks or passive income or revenue coming in, I could maybe have financial freedom because I don't have to sell a house to pay bills and live because I have this other check. And then once you have that, I think you can kind of get time freedom. You can start to choose a little bit, and then location freedom if you want. But the location freedom, which is unique with EXP, is because you can be in different states. I can write off my trips to Florida if I'm doing deals there or have a team there, right? So yeah, those 4 freedoms are huge. And that was a big attraction for me. And it's one that I think the average realtor might overlook. But I would say, trust me, right? 22 years, I've done this for a long time. There's a point where you start doing well. And those are 4 things that you really look at that you weren't kind of paying attention to when you first started. And they're things that you want so that you can kind of get some normalcy and some peace in your life and some opportunities. So yeah,
Well,
and hopefully you can tell, right? Like I love this company and I was so anti it, and I've been there a year and a half. I've tested it. I'm being transparent. I made 20 grand in stock and 36 grand in revenue share. And like, I really didn't do a ton for that. I did some. I have a group, I had a group of like 25 agents or something under me. But it's a great company. I'll be working there a long time. I'll finish my career there. And I like it enough that I'm sharing it with others. I feel like I owe it to others. Glenn Sanford actually said we're hope dealers. Like sharing this company is you're giving hope. There's some agents out there grinding and struggling who need this model because one of those pillars would change their life. I like and care about people enough that I want to share this with people because it could really help them, just like it's helped me.
well, and I was just going to sit here and say there's, 2 other little objections I get. I'll let you speak to both of them. First of all, I often, when I say we have the revenue sharing, they will go, oh, we have that too. But my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is they might have it with their franchise in their location and only what that location is bringing in. But then that's
Yeah.
also left up to the owner, right? How good are they with money and
Because it's not revenue share, it's profit share.
profit
Is
share?
their independently owned office franchise profitable? If it is, then they share in the profit of that office. EXP is revenue share for the entire company, and they're actually sharing in the revenue. And the facts are the facts. They shared like $240 million last year in revenue share. So it is what it is. There's just kind of a misconception there with people. And I've never seen a brokerage share so much of their revenue back, but they can because they don't, they're virtual. They don't have all the brick and mortar expenses. They did their brokerage different than other ones, so they actually can share some of the money. Yep, great one. What was the second one?
Oh, now I'm drawing a blank. I'll just say this.
Technology was one, right? A lot of people say, oh, my company has great tech.
Yeah.
I've
And,
seen that, but a lot of companies then still charge you for that tech. 1, 2, one of the companies that touts technology the most, I'm friends with, I'm in coaching classes, masterminds with a lot of agents who work there, and they don't use their technology. They all pay for technology themselves from somewhere else. So also any tech that's out there for the most part is probably from an independent company who maybe struck a deal with that brokerage to offer it. But you as a solo agent could be a subscriber and buy it yourself for cheap. So sometimes you just do the math. Do I got to pay this brokerage thousands and thousands of dollars and I get tech, or do I go to this brokerage, save a ton of money, and then I buy the tech that I actually want to use for cheaper? So
So last 2 things. The one was lead generations, because the biggest thing I've heard is, oh, I'm joining this because they're going to give me a bunch of leads. And I have found that to not, I mean, there definitely are going to be agents that want to give referrals because they've got so much business, but that's not necessarily truth, right?
no company really has dominated leads. Real estate, you have to learn how to get lead. You have to learn how to fish yourself. You have to learn how to feed yourself. Now, this company, I think, gives really good ideas and training and support to do that. And there's some lead generation things you can participate in or pay for. So they help set you up for it. But I think it's a company where you can learn how to do that stuff, but you have to do it. And
Yeah,
too many realtors hope they can just join a team, go somewhere and just get leads and not do the work. Great, but you know what? When the market changes, you'll go sell insurance, then you'll be doing something else. If you can learn how to lead gen, build your own business, you'll be a realtor for life.
Well, and I just want to say, if you're on this call, that's because you're looking at doing business with me or somebody on my team. And one of the reasons I chose Ryan isn't because he was necessarily the #1 income earner in EXP at this point, but truly is his knowledge of real estate, his love for real estate, but also just his integrity and his character. I mean, him and a bunch of the guys are teaching and helping people understand how to run a successful real estate business and have a good marriage, you know, and they're teaching with biblical principles. And I just love that personally. And I also think this being his first direct sales company, technically, he doesn't come with a bunch of bad habits. So he's just going to be purely working real estate and supporting the team. And then that's where I come in. This is what I've done for over 20 years, and this is my gift. And so we're going to partner our skills. We've got a guy that's working with us to help us kind of crack the code on some online lead generating if possible. We're working on that and playing with a bunch of things using Ryan's incredible experience and skill set to really help teach and raise up more agents to be successful. But all that to say, it really is about who you align yourself with. And I know you're on this call because, you know, I wouldn't be talking to you unless I clearly was serious about what I was doing. And I love Ryan's story. He's got an incredible story. He's been nothing but helpful. If we don't get a chance to get you on with him live, it's only a matter of time before you get to hear from him. And Ryan, last thing, because I am so new and I'm learning all this stuff. What does it cost to join?
I mean,
Like
there really isn't a cost.
149?
There's like a $149 application fee.
Yeah.
That's all.
And then is there any, like, once I get my 80/20/16 cap, there's very few little things that.
Yeah, there's some more fees after that. You can become an icon agent there, which then qualifies you to earn that stock or your cap back in stock. So after you cap at 16 grand, which is roughly like 8 to 10 deals, depending on your purchase point, then there's a $250 transaction fee for the next 20 deals. And then you would be considered icon. You get 8 grand back in stock and you can earn another 8. So I think those are things to go into with people, you know, on a second call or something, but it's very affordable. And what you get back, like they don't charge a broker fee, processing admin fee, whatever you call it. Some brokerages do, and they require it. So here you can charge one and keep all of that. So that's a big savings for some agents coming from other brokerages. But we'll wrap it up. We'll do to be continued, right? But for anyone who wants, like, you know, Cammie can connect you with me. Whether you come to EXP or not, like, you can utilize me as a resource. I've done this a long time. I love helping agents, or, you know, if there's an issue in your business, maybe I can give you some guidance on that. And I'd love to do business with more people. It's fun. Like, I have Cammie as a business partner now in Florida, and I have partners all over. And what's cool is I'm not their boss. I don't own the brokerage. I'm not the broker, but I can still do life and business with you. And so, open invitation, would love to do business with more people out there. But I'm still in the business, which is why we're going to wrap it up, because I have an appointment. I still have to sell some houses. So
yeah, I love it. Thank you for your time, Ryan. All right, we'll talk soon.
Thanks. See you later.